What if your only sanctuary was consumed by fire, leaving you homeless in a foreign land? This stark reality is the plight of the Rohingya, a primarily Muslim ethnic group hailing from Myanmar. In 2017 they found themselves compelled to flee their homes, victims of what many international observers have labeled ethnic cleansing. Their exodus led them to Bangladesh, where they sought refuge. Over 720,000 Rohingya, men, women and children, found themselves in makeshift camps, their lives uprooted, their futures uncertain. The camps, far from being a haven, are plagued with deteriorating conditions, a testament to the scale of this humanitarian crisis. Life in these camps is a harsh reminder of their status. Refugees in a foreign land, their lives held in a delicate balance. But even this precarious existence was shattered. A situation already dire turned into a catastrophe when a fire broke out in their camp, leaving hundreds missing and over 1,000 shelters destroyed. Even before the fire, life within the camps was a daily struggle. The Rohingya refugees, despite the relative safety offered by the camps, faced numerous challenges. Living conditions were far from ideal. The camps, densely packed with makeshift shelters, lacked the necessary infrastructure to support the large influx of refugees. Basic necessities like clean water, food and medical aid were in short supply. Sanitation facilities were inadequate, leading to the spread of diseases. The refugees, already traumatized by their forced expulsion from their homeland, were forced to confront these new hardships. Women and children in particular were vulnerable, facing the risk of exploitation and abuse. Education for children was severely disrupted, with makeshift schools offering only basic instruction. Despite these hardships, the refugees showed remarkable resilience, their spirit unbroken in the face of adversity. Yet, as they struggled to rebuild their lives, the danger of a catastrophic event loomed over them, a danger that would soon become a reality when a fire broke out in the camp. The life of a refugee is fraught with challenges, and for the Rohingyas these challenges were about to be exacerbated by a devastating fire. On a day that started like any other, a spark ignited, setting off a chain of events that left the camp in ruins. In the heart of the Rohingya refugee camp in Bangladesh, a fire broke out. It was an ordinary day, until it wasn't. The fire, as unexpected as it was devastating, started small, but in the blink of an eye, it grew, fueled by the densely packed shelters and the dry, windy conditions. The flames spread rapidly, consuming everything in their path, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. As the fire raged on, the inhabitants of the camp, over 720,000 Rohingyas who had fled Myanmar in 2017, were thrown into chaos. Men, women and children, already displaced by conflict, now faced a new, indiscriminate enemy. The fire, unyielding and relentless, showed no mercy. In the immediate aftermath, the scale of the devastation became horrifyingly clear. At least 15 people lost their lives to the Inferno. Around 400 others were reported missing, their whereabouts unknown amidst the chaos. The fire had not only claimed lives but also destroyed more than 1,000 shelters, homes that had offered a semblance of normality in a life of displacement. The fire's ferocity was such that it left nothing untouched. The shelters, the few possessions the refugees had managed to hold on to, the makeshift schools and hospitals, all reduced to ashes. It was as if the fire had erased the existence of the camp, leaving behind a desolate, scorched earth. In a matter of hours, the fire had reduced the camp to ashes, leaving the already displaced Rohingyas with nowhere to call home. In the wake of the fire, the camp was a scene of utter devastation. The once teeming Rohingya refugee camp in Bangladesh had been reduced to a charred landscape, the aftermath of the fire a stark reminder of the fragility of life in such precarious conditions. Over 1,000 shelters, each a haven to countless Rohingya refugees, were laid to waste, leaving a trail of destruction that was hard to comprehend. The refugees, already displaced from their homes in Myanmar, found themselves grappling with a new kind of loss. Their meager belongings, carefully hoarded over years of displacement, were lost in the Inferno. Yet, amidst the ashes and rubble, the refugees began the painstaking task of salvaging what little they could. Every scrap of cloth, every remnant of a utensil, held the promise of a small step towards rebuilding their lives. The conditions in the camp, already dire, were exacerbated by the fire. The lack of clean water and sanitation facilities, coupled with the threat of disease outbreaks, painted a grim picture. Yet, in the face of these adversities, the indomitable spirit of the Rohingya people shone through. Their resilience, their determination to carry on, was as palpable as the heat of the fire that had razed their shelters. In the aftermath of the fire, the role of non-profit organizations became even more crucial. They stepped up their efforts, providing much-needed aid and support to the refugees. From distributing food and water to setting up temporary shelters, these organizations worked tirelessly to alleviate the suffering of the refugees. Their dedication, their unwavering commitment to the cause of the Rohingya echoed the resilience of the refugees themselves. Yet the road to recovery is long and fraught with challenges. The struggle to rebuild their lives to restore some semblance of normalcy is a testament to the enduring spirit of the Rohingya people. They face each day with courage and resolve, their resilience a beacon of hope amidst the ruins. In the face of such adversity, the resilience of the Rohingya people is tested, yet it never wavers. This incident raises questions that extend beyond the confines of the refugee camp. It's a stark reminder of the precarious existence of the Rohingya refugees. They've been displaced from their homeland, Myanmar, in 2017, and have since been living in conditions that are far from ideal. The fire that gutted more than 1,000 shelters is just one of the many challenges they face in their daily lives. To live as a refugee is to live in uncertainty, in constant fear of what the next day will bring. The fire has brought this reality into sharp focus. It is a reminder that while the world may have moved on, the crisis is far from over for those living it each day. This incident also casts a spotlight on the international response, or lack thereof, to the Rohingya crisis. Despite the scale of the crisis, the response from the international community has been lackluster at best. There are countless organizations doing commendable work on the ground, but the larger structural issues remain unaddressed. The fire in the refugee camp is not just a tragedy, it is a failure. A failure of the international community to adequately address the crisis. A failure to ensure the safety and well-being of the Rohingya refugees. It's a failure that we must confront, that we must learn from. The Rohingya crisis is a test of our collective conscience. It's a test of our ability to uphold the rights and dignity of every individual, regardless of where they come from or what their circumstances are. It's a test that, so far, we are failing. The fire in the refugee camp is a wake-up call. It's a call to action. It's a reminder that we can and must do better. It's a reminder that while the fire may have been extinguished, the crisis is still burning. The plight of the Rohingya refugees is far from over, and it's high time the world took notice. As we grapple with the human tragedy of the fire, we must also confront the larger failures that led to it. The fire in the Rohingya refugee camp is a stark reminder of the vulnerability of displaced populations. This devastating incident has resulted in the tragic loss of at least 15 lives and has left around 400 people missing. Over 1,000 shelters were gutted, further exacerbating the already dire conditions in a camp housing more than 720,000 Rohingya refugees. This event underscores the precarious existence of the Rohingya people, who fled Myanmar in 2017. Their plight is a pressing humanitarian issue that demands global attention and action. This fire is not an isolated incident, but a symptom of the larger crisis faced by displaced populations worldwide. The international community must reflect on the broader implications of this event. It is a call to action, to address the underlying issues that lead to such tragedies and to work towards sustainable solutions for refugees. As the ashes settle and the world moves on, it is crucial that we do not forget the plight of the Rohingya and continue to advocate for their rights and their future.